Hello guys, my name is NaToSaphiX, and today we have another video, and this time it is not a tutorial video directly, but it is a video that discusses good grenade usage and how to get better grenade usage, because for me, what sets aside a good player from, what sets aside a good player from a phenomenal player is his grenade usage, and it's very, very important, very key. And you see a lot of players, especially in the lower ranks in matchmaking, really mess this up badly, and I'll tell you how they do it and why what they're doing is wrong. So this is going to be a long video. It's going to be an unstructured video. I don't have a piece of paper telling me what to say. I'm just talking out of my ass, and if you dislike that, that's totally fine. But I have been doing YouTube for some time, and I think I can wing it. I actually have just recorded this whole video for like 25 minutes perhaps, where I discuss every single thing there is to know about grenades. And I had used my wrong microphone, like my headset microphone, and it was also turned up so high that, like, so loud. It was so loud that it was just sounding like absolute shit. So we're gonna try it once more, and hopefully we can do it a bit quicker now. We are gonna be hopping through different maps so I can better show you what I'm thinking here. But first of all, I'm gonna give myself an op, and the first grenade we're gonna be going through here is the Decoy Grenade. Now, the Decoy Grenade doesn't have too many uses, but it does have a few. So if you don't know what a Decoy Grenade does, it essentially goes down and shoots with whatever your primary weapon is. If you don't have a primary weapon, it's gonna shoot with your pistol. I at least think that's how it is. So it makes noise, as you could probably tell, of an AWP shooting right now. And then eventually it will explode and disappear. And let's just give it a few seconds here. Come on, big boy. There we go. Now on the enemy radar, this will show up as an enemy, and it will also make a lot of noise, thinking, well, maybe making the enemies think that there is some guy there. But playing against a professional team, this doesn't really have much of a use, simply because with good communication, decoy grenades are essentially neutralized. They don't really have any use in competitive play, like proper competitive play. And the reason being, of course, that the reason being that good communication just, it's like, Bob, is there a guy in this corner? No, it's just a decoy grenade. Okay, Bob, thank you for telling me. Then it's like, yeah, waste of a $50 grenade, right? But they do have a few other uses, and one of them, and that's the reason why we're at cash, is one that I saw way back with WorldEdit watching mid, and he knew there was some guy who wanted to cross. I think it's here, or maybe it's even up in the boost. He knew he would peek. It's one of the two, and he's watching an angle, and the guy just doesn't want to show. Now, what WorldEdit does is, I think he throws a decoy grenade in this corner. Then when the decoy grenade shoots, the guy in mid is like, hey, the AWPer up here is shooting, let me try to cross. But it's not an AWP shot, and if you are totally new to Counter-Strike, of course an AWP can only shoot like here and here, right? So there is a big delay. So when he hears an AWP shot, he thinks, oh my god, now is my time to shine. And instead, WorldEdit is just watching the angle and kills him when he tries to cross. So that's genius. That's absolutely genius. Now, the only other use I could find for the decoy is if you have the bomb planted, and this is one that kind of was brought into the community by Trilix, I guess. I don't think he had the idea. I think it was a viewer that sent him the idea. But still, he made a video about it. He brought it into the community. But if you have the bomb planted and put a decoy on the bomb, it does actually give off a bit of damage when it explodes. It's not much. I think versus armor it's about 2, and I think it might be 5 to 8 or something like that if you don't have armor. But if you throw 5 of these, for example, in the pistol round on the bomb, what will happen, of course, is the diffuser will take a lot of damage. Not a lot. This time I only took 1. I took 2 when I recorded the video before. But yeah, that's another use for the decoy grenade. And yeah, that's really the only thing. So, one, you can use it for confusion. It really only works in pugs and not in high competitive play. You can use it in competitive play by doing what WorldEdit did, or you could use it in a pistol round on the bomb, but that's very situational. Most people have armor on pistol rounds. Of course, some don't, especially the guy diffusing usually, because he has a kit instead. But I think it's very rare that you're going to get a kill, especially in competitive play, by throwing 5 decoys on the bomb. But it can be used to take a bit of time off and at least a bit of damage off your opponent. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Now, let's just change map real quick. And the reason that we change map is because some of these things are, yeah, quite situational. And one of the things here I want to show you with the HE grenade is one that the old TSM, I think they brought it up at MLG Aspen actually. I think that was the first event where this was ever seen in competitive play. And the guy who actually brought that into the community was Tweeday. I didn't realize that they actually did this, but Tweeday made a video about it. And I'm just trying to fix my shirt here so I can... Yes, nice. Okay, so let's just do that. Well, I should also put MP start money 16,000. And let's go. So I should also be ruining the freestyle. But as most people know, grenades are usually used to either flush out an area quite inefficiently. But let's say there's a guy behind blue, for example. You bank it off there, goes in, the guy takes an astronomical amount of damage if he doesn't have armor, and less so if he does have armor. The same can be used here. Here, you know, you catch the idea, right? If he's behind single box or whatever. It usually also is used actually on Dust 2 a lot. The pizza nade, if you don't know what that is, it's basically bouncing off a nade on the sign, and it goes to the side. So that's quite nice. Now, before I actually go on further with this, I just wanna let me go and restart once more, and I'll tell you what I think is fundamentally wrong in how MG players use their grenades, right? So the way they do this, and I see this so many times, and obviously I'm not MG, I'm what some would call a semi-pro player, I guess. But what they do is they have really poor grenade users. So let's say they plant the bomb here, right? And there's a guy coming from short. Instead of, for example, using their smoke like this as soon as they plant the bomb to block off this area, what they will do, for example, is if he's already pushed out or something because they've been too late at using the nade properly, they'll just like throw a smoke here just to smoke, because in their minds they don't want to die with grenades, because everyone is always saying don't die with a grenade in your grenade set or whatever, and it doesn't make sense because that's just a waste of money and it's a waste of potential good grenade usage. But the problem is that a lot of these players don't really realize when to use grenades and how to use them. So what they end up doing is they end up, let's say, smoking like this. Then, oh my god, wait, I've also got a flash. I need to flash up into the air like this, even blind themselves slightly. And then they throw a grenade and they just like throw it like this or something. It's just, it looks so stupid. And honestly, I might be over exaggerating, but not a lot actually. It's really not that much. A lot of MG players do this, and of course below. It might even be up to DMG level, that people just don't understand grenade usage. What you could do instead is plant the bomb and block off here with the smoke, for example, and then just wait. Actually, you have your grenades, you don't need to use them right now. When he pushes up, then you can, like, you could even stand over here instead, maybe use the flash like this, right? So it goes out and pops, and you can peek with it. And he's not going to be able to dodge this. Just go out, peek with it. If you still don't win the fight, then you could, like, because you know he's probably pushing up here, you could bank it off like this. But you don't want to be... This is also very important for good grenade usage. Don't stand out in the open and throw a grenade, except that there's like a smoke, or the guy is very unlikely to peek. Try to stand like this and use a grenade like that or something. Just try to always be in cover when throwing nades, if possible. Okay? So it could also be like, I don't know, something like this, for example. I don't know. It actually goes over and hits quite well. You're not spotted, of course. But a lot of players just throw away the nades. So I want you, if you're a low skill player, like, just eliminate what you've heard from people. It's okay to buy with nades. So many times in competitive play, even at the highest level, you see a Fnatic player, for example, go and try to get an entry frag with an AWP, right? That would be JW. He's also known for being very aggressive. Do you ever hear the commentator say, "Oh no, darn, he should have used all of his grenades in spawn"? No, you don't. You don't, because it's a risk he takes, of course. But a lot of the time, it's deciding whether or not the grenade actually helps you in this situation. So that's the first thing you need to do. And then you need to think, okay, how can I actually utilize it efficiently? And a lot of people at the low ranks don't do this. And that's why I think it's better to even hang on to your nades and don't use them at all. Of course, you don't get better grenade usage, but just use them when you think it's a good idea, but don't just use them for the sake of using it, because that's just not right, okay? Now, grenades, as I said, can be used to flush out areas. It can also be used to, for example, kill a diffuser. So if he's on the bomb site, do the pizza nade, and he might die. It can also be used to just tag a guy. But one thing where it really works well is on this too. A lot of people tend to smoke this, and it goes off and blocks here so you can cross without getting hit by an AWP. Now, I think this is always a big no-no, except if you want to do something like this. This is a cool little strat. If we just give ourselves an AWP here. You can either run to lower, right? Or you can just go here, jump up here, and then peek mid like this. Very interesting stuff. You can try that. That's the only way I think a smoke is really good. I hate this smoke. Please don't do this. Like, I understand the purpose of it being that they have to worry about an AWPer peeking close so they can't fire through the smoke. But this smoke is just horrible for AWPers. Like, honestly, it's so shit. I can't peek this angle up here, and that is just poor. I really dislike this in every single way. So yeah, I really dislike that. Just want to point that out so much. But if you have a smoke and you don't have a grenade, for example, try to just run close to the doors, or try to maybe bait out a shot and then run across, or something like that. Because it's just, don't use your smoke there. You need the smoke to be here. It takes off 15 seconds of the clock. Usually stops an incoming rush, and it's just very, very key to have that. But that's why TSM, the old TSM, not the American ones, the Danish team who are now Astralis, I think it was at MLG Aspen where they started using grenades like this. So they go in and explode and blow up dust, and it only really works on dust too, but it actually blows up dust so much that you can't see through this crack because of the dust. So it gives you enough time, you could probably imagine, to cross here without being seen. And it's actually very, very powerful. The grenade can be rebought, the smokes cannot. So you could even have a guy on the A-bomb site throw this grenade, go and buy a new grenade, and then run off to do his job. Whereas if he throws a smoke, he doesn't have a smoke for the rest of the round. And that's why this is just so smart. So that's another use for the grenade. Now, as far as flashes go, and I might as well show this on Dust 2. You can of course use it to set up a mate. A lot of players will try to flash your mates out long, so I think they do something like this. I'm not an expert, not on this. I'm not a support player. But throw a flash like that so it blinds. It probably usually lands more close to here. But you can use it to support. You can use it to... let's see if we can find a good angle to do this. For example, short here. Use it by doing an underhand throw and just peek like this. And go out and kill anybody being here, because they should hopefully be blinded by a flash. Or... there's another way which I actually really like. I think it's underused, especially also by me. I think I don't use this enough, but I think it's very powerful. You basically throw a flash in front of your face, like this, but then peek with the flash. So before the flash, you go out, take the fight, and then get flashed. Because if there's a guy here, for example, and even if you miss your shot with an AWP or with an AK, this guy will be blinded and will most likely not be able to just follow straight up on you. And he might even miss the shot, or he might not even be peeking here because he sees the flash, right? So you get a free shot off, get a lot of information, get blinded, but then you can just run back. Usually, if you're a good enough player, you know how the map works and you can run back. But this is a cool way to actually peek with a flash. I see a lot of pro players do this, but not often enough for it to be enough, actually, in my opinion. But that's just me. Now, one more way of peeking with flashes is if there is a wall, just throw a normal throw, maybe take a step back so it goes up in the air, and then do it like this so it pops behind you in the air. Now, anybody watching with an AWP here, now this is a faraway angle, so it won't be very flashed, but if he's scoping here, he won't, of course, see the flash. If he's even only one scoping, like scoped in one time, he'll see the flash, but he also has to try and kill you. And he has to decide, whereas the guy here that throws the flash doesn't have to make any decision. He just comes out and peeks and doesn't get blinded, especially if he goes in front of it. So like this, right? He's not going to get very blind. And so he doesn't have to dodge this flash, but the enemy does. Now, this can also be used to, let's say, some guy is coming up short, he gets to around here. Instead of just throwing a flash like straight up in the air, like a lot of bad players will do, what you could be doing is bank off a flash like this. So you're not going to get blinded. But this guy here, he doesn't have any possibility of peeking you here or here without getting flashed by this. Whereas you are not going to get flashed because the box is used as cover for the flash. So use your flashes like this. And you can also, there are a few trick flashes on this too. I'll just show you something like this. I actually have a whole video on this. So there's some pretty cool flashes. You can also do this. Right. There are some cool trick flashes on Dust 2. Dust 2 is one of the best maps for trick flashes in my opinion. I have a whole video on it, you can check it out. I might put it in the description. I'll more likely forget that I had to. So maybe look it up on your own, but you can also remind me and I'll put it in soon. That's what she said. Now smokes are the most powerful grenade in the whole game. And for this I want to go to D train, and I have a good reason. Actually, let's wait with the smokes. Let's go for Molotov now. So incendiary grenades is the CT equivalent. This can also be used to flush out an area, but they do it more effectively than the grenades, of course. Because if you bank off a Molotov like this, and there's a guy standing in this corner, he has to make a choice. Does he either want to die, which is probably not the choice, or does he want to just run out? And it's what more likely happens. Or he can, and some people might not know this, but most will, that if you use a smoke on the Molotov, it dies. So that's nice to know, right? So if he has a smoke, he can also do this and then stay in that corner and ask for support, right? But generally, if he's stuck there and there's a Molotov, he has to try and get out. So it's really good to flush out an area. It can be used a bunch of places. I think some people, I unfortunately don't know, I have to find out how. There is some way you can throw a jump Molotov, I don't know how it is, like this, that lands on car. That actually landed, so that's nice. Now you've learned a new Molotov, or at least I have. So add this thing, and then here, and then jump throw. Whoop. And this should go down and land on the car. So again, we're talking about you don't want to be an angle where this guy can peek you. So you don't want to be out of the open and throwing it like this, right? Because that's just stupid. But basically, it's used to flush out spots, and here he really doesn't have any choice what to do. He just has to get out if he doesn't have a smoke. And the same can be done with the pizza nade. So like this, right? Goes in on the side and explodes, and it's really, really powerful. So Molotovs are used as a way of flushing out people, and this is very, very nice. Now, one thing you need to bear in mind if you throw a Molotov though, and this is the thing, so this sometimes happens, especially at the higher level. If you throw a Molotov like this, right? Okay, that's not good. Like that. Lands on the car, right? And this guy, he's like, oh my god, I need to get back. And he takes this angle instead, so he just goes back like this and takes this angle. He will have a much better vision at what's happening than you will, because the guy who's the closest to the Molotov will have the best vision. I don't know why I like that. So if you stand like this, you see there's no like black smoke around the Molotov, so I can see through clearly. Should really use God mode here. But if you throw the Molotov from here, there's like black smoke blocking your vision, and it's really, really annoying, especially here on the plant, for example. You throw it in dark, like that. The black smoke basically blocks your vision. As you can see, you can barely make out the pillar anymore. And so the guy who's the closest to the Molotov has the better vision. And so you don't want to be taking a long-range duo against the guy who's on the opposite side of the Molotov. And I think this is a lot of people don't know this, so you need to bear this in mind. It can also be used to push an area. So for example, let's say you know there's a guy close to the door, or you think there's a guy watching the door. If he Molotovs here, or you even Molotov here, if you run through it, it'll take a lot of your HP off, but he's never going to think you're stupid enough to do this. And sometimes this can be enough of a surprise that you just run up. Also, if some guy Molotovs here and you just use your smoke and then push through immediately, he's also going to get caught off guard. So this is nice to know. Now, the Molotov doesn't have too many different uses, but still, it's nice to know that whoever is the closest to the Molotov, has the best, if you know what I mean. Now, in terms of smokes, there are a few different ways. One of them could be to block off vision. Now, I said don't do it here, but I'm still going to do it because this is probably the easiest way to show. This is to block off vision, right? So now I can cross safely. That's nice. The same can be said about this one. This is to block off vision. Now, if you are playing on the A bomb side and have the bomb plant here and you smoke off short like this, this is not to block off vision. In some cases it will be. If you're planning the bomb open, now he can't see you. But most of the time this is actually to block off the opposition. So now this is effectively a smoke wall that he can't run through, because if he does run through it, he's gonna die more often than not, right? So now this is a way to use it to block off the opposition. There's also another way, which would be I like to do this, and this is actually like one of my best tricks. So please, yeah, this is, I'm actually, I don't want to part with this, but it's one of my best tricks in my opinion. So if you play short, which I do a lot of the time, just throw smoke like this, right? An aggressive smoke. This is not an uncommon smoke. What you do is you just slow walk through the smoke, right? You get into this position, you want to crouch and sit here, and you can watch top mid, and anybody come up short, and it's a very powerful position. Even the ones jumping up on Xbox, if you see a smoke, if you come down here and you see a smoke there, and you jump up on Xbox, no way in hell you're going to look at this position. Sometimes, but rarely. So it will also give you a free frank like this. You can do this with a rifle on AWP, and it's very, very powerful. So this is actually used to kind of bait out the opposition to think you're not here, and then you're pushing your own smoke. So that's very neat. Now there's also something called one-way smokes, and I dislike one-way smokes, I can tell you that. I think it's cheating, more or less. I actually really dislike it, and I think they should fix it. People stopped yelling about it, but it has been a problem for more than 2 years. I think ever since CSGO really got released. Perhaps they did update smokes. I think that's when it started being an issue. But basically a one-way smoke is throwing a smoke somewhere where only the guy in the smoke can see out. So I think there's one where it's like, I think you go in here, and then I think it's something like this. I'm not sure. I don't really use one-way smokes, but it's like that, and then you're supposed to be able to see through here, right? There's some way of throwing this, but I don't really use them, so that's why. But basically anybody who's standing here can only see a smoke, but you can see them. And that's an unfair advantage in my opinion, so I don't really use them so much. I know one-way smoke is if you go in here, and I rarely see this being used. If you go into this corner, just aim at this thing that goes out here, and let go. And this is a bit of an interesting one-way smoke. Not only because it goes out, so you can boost here and look over the smoke, like this. It's pretty neat. But also you can go to the left, and yeah, if anybody's playing the site, they can't see you. Or you can go to the right and sit here, and this is a one-way smoke for the site. And you can also then jump up on the box and take the battles like this and kill the guy playing cards. Really, really powerful to take BA solo. But this is a one-way smoke, so this is the last way of using the smoke, I'd say. So to recap, a decoy can be used for confusion, to bait in enemies into thinking you shot your AWP shot, for example, or it can be used on the bomb. Now, a flash can be used as support, or to flash yourself out, or to bait that you're not really peeking, but you actually are. The one that I told you about where you peek with the flash. A nade can be used in some situations to actually eliminate vision, but a lot of the time it's more commonly used to flush out opponents or just deal damage. This can be used either early round, by just like nading in the middle area usually, or you can use it late round when you know where the enemies are and then throw the nade. A smoke can be used to block off vision, to block off the opposition, or you can use it as, well, to make a play. Especially if there's like, in a 1 versus 1, there are 2 ways. Let's see if we can find somewhere. Yeah, let's say here, right? And you block off one. And you can more or less stand and only watch this, and you can even creep up close to this and stand like this, or creep through the smoke as he's going in the window, and then get out behind him. So that's really, 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 really neat. And Molotovs, they're mostly used to flush out, and sometimes they can even be used. Imagine some guy standing watching this angle, and he Molotovs here, and then holds it, because he has the better vision. That'd be crazy. I don't think we've ever seen that, but pretty neat. And yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, I actually did mention that in the other video. Any grenade can be used while defusing the bomb. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. So if you are defusing the bomb, you can actually underhand throw any grenade like this. Now, a lot of people know this, but a lot of people don't know the fact that this works, of course, with any grenade, but if you press the underhand throw and then press the other button, you have the middle throw that goes a bit further, or you can press the underhand throw and then the middle throw and let go of the underhand throw button and do a normal throw. But you have to press the underhand throw first. What you can also do is you can pull out a flash with the normal throw like this, and then go and defuse the bomb and then throw it. That also works. So you can actually use a few grenades while defusing the bomb. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. Please do like and comment and subscribe if you haven't. My name is NaToSaphiX, and I'll see you in the next video, baby. Kiss, kiss.